Okay, we're on. Let Yomi in. Okay, folks, so happy to welcome you to the Master of Science in Library and Information Science program at St. John's University. You're on the new student orientation, and the new student orientation has basically three components. The first is we go the faculty, we give the faculty a chance to introduce themselves so you can see who they are and hear about their interests and etc., whatever they would like to share. And then we go to student resources. Michael Crossfox will do a presentation on student resources, which will cover a broad scope of our online resources that you have available to you. And then lastly will be my closing remarks. Uh, and that'll should take around an hour and 15 minutes all told. So in that line, let us start off right with the faculty introduction. So if I can ask Dr. Christine Angel to begin.
Hi, my name is Christine Angel, and I'm teaching this semester the Organization of Information course, LIS 203, and Museum Informatics class. So if any of you are in my Museum Informatics class, that is that has a virtual exchange component with students from Germany that will be participating and engaging in. Started in March. I've asked also those of you that are in my classes if you would have the opportunity next week to meet with me via WebEx so that maybe we can meet each other then too. I've already met a few of you from your discussion board post that you've already introduced yourself on. Thank you so much. So a lot of you have expressed interest thus far that you're interested in libraries or archival work. So archives and records management. So you're in the right place. My suggestion is to start now, that not wait in terms of finding a job. There are always lots of positions open for archives and records management. So let's start looking now. I post jobs on a regular basis that I find through different discussion boards to my classes. Let's see. So yeah, so about museum archives, with the museum informatics class are museum archival positions to records management and museum stuff like that. And that's it for right now. If anybody else has any questions about how to get engaged in different possible employment opportunities or how to seek out different jobs while you're here at the university, I am more than willing to help with that too. Just to get your foot in the door somewhere or to help get your foot in the door somewhere so that you can actually do what you want to do upon graduating from St. John's University. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Angel. Um, so let's move to Dr. Shari Lee. Go ahead, Shari.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to St. John's, DLIS. I am the advisor for the Youth Services Program, so any of you who are interested in working with youth, teens, children, babies, you will take a lot of my courses. I also teach the 205, which is the Foundations course in information sources and services. There are two sections this semester. I'm teaching one of them, so you might be in my section. My research looks at basically teens and space. So I look at teen space in libraries, trying to figure out how to make them better. As you go through the program, especially if you are taking the youth services program classes or interested in that concentration, you'll get to find out that teens are an underserved group in libraries when children are not. So there's that disparity. So we do talk about that a lot, and that's kind of what my research looks at. I have a edited book coming out in March, a youth service on youth services. So look forward to reading a lot of that. Um, Not that I'm going to have you buy it. I mean, there are chapters that I will, copy for you to read. So don't freak out about that. I'm also working on a monograph about my space research, and that should be out sometime, I don't know, in September or so. A couple of things I wanted to sort of run by you. just as a point of interest, because many of you probably have not taken an online course, let alone, participate or join, registered for an online program, right? So like, what does that mean, right? It means everything is virtual, right? And a lot of stuff has to be read and written, right? We're going to communicate basically by email, text, by phone, within Canvas. A lot of it is virtual. You know, even if we're talking on the phone, we're not in the same room, right? So we miss a lot of cues, right? Sometimes I can't tell if you're frustrated, panicking or whatever. So you need to communicate exactly what's going on with you. It's okay. I'm speaking for everyone now, right? We, the faculty, staff, we're here to help you. We want you to succeed. So while it's fine to talk to your classmates about issues that you're not clear on, you really need to talk to the faculty as well. I'm not saying don't talk to your classmates, but if you're not sure about something, clarifying it with a classmate may not be the best way to go, because misinformation can get passed along, and then, you're down a rabbit hole. So feel free, we welcome you to reach out, talk to us, let us know what's going on. All right. It's already isolating enough being in an online program, and we, have different time zones and things like that. But you can always reach out to me if you're in my courses, which I'm also teaching 127 and 125 this semester. So those are youth services courses. So in any of my courses, please feel free to reach out. I'm going to give you my phone number. Feel free to text and call. It doesn't matter what time. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. That's just for me, right? 310-703-2561. You can text, you can call me if you have a problem. If I don't pick up, send me a text. I'll call you when I can. I'll respond when I can. Not a problem. Sometimes you just need to know right away. So those are the key things. Read everything that you're meant to read so you understand what needs to happen. It's easy to just make mistakes or do things because you're not aware of what's needed, or you have the wrong idea of what's needed. So if you're not sure about something, takes 2 seconds to just verify exactly what you do need to know. And that's my best advice right now. I look forward to seeing you in class. Enjoy the program. And please, again, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Okay, let's move to Dr. Kevin Rue. Yeah, Kevin.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Kevin Ryu, and I want to welcome all of you. I have a lot of you in my LIS 204 class, which starts this evening. If you haven't been able to get on Canvas, you might want to take a look at that just to, see what's going on for the first day of class for LIS 204. I've got a little PowerPoint presentation, but I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's see if it does work. Here we go. Can everyone see this?
Well, let me make you the presenter.
Okay.
I gotta find you on my list here. Gotta find. Let me close the chat. Make it a little bigger here.
Okay.
Okay, where are you? There you are.
Okay.
Okay, just click.
Do you see anything, or do you see me still?
To Kevin presenter. Okay, so now if you do share,
Mm-hmm.
it should come up.
Okay, let me try it again. Share screen, WebEx Meet, and then you should be looking at my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Not
Yes,
yet.
sir.
Not yet.
Hmm.
Michael, you want to jump in on?
I have no experience using the app to share, so
No, not share. I mean, I'm wondering, connected to audio. This participant joined. You're on a mobile device, Kevin?
I'm on an iPad, yeah.
It says that you're the presenter.
And it says that I'm sharing. So let's try one more thing. And if not, we will try something else. What about now? You see anything?
Ah, here we go. Here we go.
All right, good. And this should be recording too. So if anybody, wants to take a look at this again. But as I said before, I'm Kevin Ryu, and I really, I'm so glad to see everybody here. Some of my primary interests are information sharing and information seeking behavior. I'm also teaching a course this semester on social justice and the information professions. So access to information as a social justice issue is a big one for me, and I bring it into a lot of my classes. I talk a lot about information as a public good. I also am interested in scholarly communication and university librarianship, and that's another one of my classes this semester is college and research libraries. And I often talk a lot about and write about libraries as community hubs or places where people come together and exchange information. And one of the things that is pretty timely and it's kind of challenging is propaganda in LIS research and practice. And as we move into an election year, propaganda is really going to be more and more prevalent in the information space. And I'm hoping to see some really good discussions about that and bringing it back to how this affects libraries and what our role as librarians and information professionals are. So these are the things that kind of occupy me when I'm not teaching or my primary research interest. And as I've mentioned, these are the courses that I teach. This semester, I'm teaching the foundations course, which a lot of you are already in, and I'll be glad to see you in there. And college and university libraries. I'm also teaching the social justice and the information professions course. The format that I use for my classes is a seminar format, which is a common one in graduate programs and professional preparation programs like ours. And it asks you to do, 4 major things. The one is to read, think, do, and discuss. And as Dr. Lee was mentioning earlier, it's real important for you to be able to work together in groups, and this is going to require you to do some reading and to some thinking before we get together in our seminar discussions, because you're expected to contribute to the class learning environment. Graduate seminars are set up in a way that we all learn from each other. I've been doing this for a long time, so I might have some additional experiences that you don't have, but in graduate school and in graduate programs and professional preparation programs, especially in our program, there are people with amazing experiences, and we can all learn from each other. So we acknowledge that in my courses, and I expect you to contribute to the class learning environment. One of the things is also becoming comfortable with contingencies in professional environments in the information professions. Sometimes there aren't always a right or a wrong answer. It depends. And what we want you to demonstrate is that you understand, the values and the guidelines and the proper ways of doing things, so we can make the best decisions. So it's becoming comfortable with contingencies. And also in our courses, because our profession depends so much on clear communication and writing and reading, I'm going to insist on professional communication, especially written communication, because our courses are mostly asynchronous and they depend very much on text. Once again, this semester, I'm teaching these courses. If you're in my 204 class, it started at 6 o'clock this afternoon or this evening. Tomorrow, we're going to start the social justice and LIS course. And next Tuesday, we start the academic libraries course. And as some other faculty members have mentioned, it's really important to keep the lines of communication open. And the best way to keep in touch with me is via email. I will communicate with you in any method that you like. You know, if you want to talk on the phone, or if you want to, you know, work with WebEx or Zoom, great. That's not a problem. Just email me. We'll set up a time, and we can chat and get your needs taken care of. I usually respond within a couple of hours, between the hours of 9 and 6 on weekdays. On Saturdays, if you have something nice, you know, something quick, you know, I can answer, but I don't answer emails on Sundays. So just keep that in mind. You know, again, wonderful to have you all here, and I welcome all of you, and please keep in touch. So thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. So let's move now to Dr. Rajesh Singh.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Rajesh Singh, and my current research interests focus on intercultural skills and information behavior. I teach two required core courses, LIS 239 Research Methods and LIS 240 Management of Information Organization almost every semester. In addition, I also teach elective management courses such as Marketing and Advocacy, Project Management and Knowledge Management course. All these courses, these elective courses, management courses, along with the required management course, contribute to the advanced certificate in management for information professional we have in our program. And this is a 12 credit advanced certificate program. If you're interested in pursuing a management certificate, you can take those courses along with MSLIS program at no additional cost. So it is possible. So if you have interest in becoming manager or leader down the road, or I believe ultimate goal of most students is to become library director at some point. So it will be helpful. Regardless of your interest in management certificate, I think it will be useful to complete a project management course if it is possible, because it will enhance your attractiveness or appeal in the job market. In addition to that, I also teach two additional courses in cultural competence and fake news and misinformation. And these two courses are also form of an advanced certificate in social justice in the information professions. So Dr. Kevin Ryu, he teaches two other social justice related courses that he mentioned in his bio, in his introduction. And in most of my courses I use case studies or problem-based scenarios as a foundation to facilitate discussion in my courses. Students generally enjoy those discussions, so I hope you will enjoy them too. And I know some of them you're currently enrolled in my courses, and I look forward to working with you. And you will have also opportunities to work on some real world type of project, like creating a strategic plan, creating a marketing plan, or project charter, a knowledge management action plan, or misinformation awareness program. So these are highly valuable skills, and that would be useful to you for your workplace. So if you have any question regarding any certificate, management or social justice certificate, feel free to reach out to me. Dr. Kevin Ryu, he can also answer your question about social justice certificate if you have any questions. And once again, welcome to the program, and I look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Rajesh. Okay, so let's move to Dr. Kristen Sylvian.
Thank you, Jim, and good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to our orientation program. I am the coordinator of the Public History Graduate Program and the Dual Degree Program. And if you're not familiar with those programs, as you can probably guess, the Public History Program is based in the History Department, where I am jointly appointed. And if you're not familiar with that term, public history, I like to think of it as a kind of both an approach to intellectual inquiry, as well as a kind of collection of different subfields that historians rightly or wrongly perhaps claim. And one of those, of course, is archives, as well as some special collections that have a historical component. Museums, historic preservation, for example, historical interpretation are all examples of classes or topics that are examined within the public history program. So there's also an opportunity, in addition to the public history study, to do a dual degree that offers, of course, the program you're already in, the Master of Science in Library and Information Science, and then the Master of Arts. In all likelihood, our paths probably will not cross until you've done most of your core courses and begin your electives. And one of the electives that I offer that has particular resonance for many of the library and information science students is oral history. There's just continues to be an explosion of interest in oral history and in oral testimony. And so that is not only a kind of a techniques class, but we also look at the archival issues that are involved in that transition from when my career started in analog to interviews today that are born digital. I also teach a class that examines GLAM history, galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. And one of those courses has a New York City focus to it. So you can examine the history of some of those august institutions that we are all so familiar with and maybe aspire to be employees someday. In terms of what else I may be of assistance to you is that we have built through public history and the Division of Library and Information Science some longstanding relationships. First with the United States Park Service, that relationship was just renewed, and we have kind of exclusive rights, if you will, in the New York metro area on internships, and we're moving into helping students acquire seasonal positions with the Park Service. The Park Service is rapidly changing and is actively seeking to diversify its pretty traditional employee base. So I hope that you'll seriously consider an internship with the Park Service. And remember, the Park Service employs thousands of people, and not everybody's, you know, in the Smokey the Bear hat as a ranger. There's librarians, there's archivists, there's cultural specialists, you know, there's accountants, there's, you know, the Park Service employs all kinds of different folks. We also have a long-term relationship with the Queen's Memory Project. This is a born digital oral history project that is jointly sponsored by Queen's College and the Queen's Public Library. We've been working with them for over a decade. And during this past semester, my oral history students were involved in interviewing staff members at the Queen's Public Library. And those interviews form the basis of an interactive timeline that looks at the history of the Queen's Public Library and a podcast. So that's kind of an example that our class, you know, we both do the oral histories and then we actually practice, you know, turning them into tangible products so that you would leave the class being able to list on your CV, on your resume, that you had a hand in producing some of these digital products. And then lastly, I just want to say that we also have numerous opportunities working with Dr. Angel, her archival students, the records management students, and helping find internships. I mean, most recently, we've had students working with the archives of the Diocese of Brooklyn and Queens. We've had someone who just finished an archival internship at the United States Merchant Marine Academy, Library and Museum. And we also had someone who has been working with the archives of the, the National Archives New York City branch, right? There's right down on One Bowling Green in Manhattan is a branch of the National Archives. So those just examples of internships that our students have had in, just in the past couple semesters, and I'd be happy to help you out in finding an internship that is appropriate for you and your career interests. And then finally, I'd be happy to help you out with regard to kind of preparing for your entry to the job market in terms of your resume or CV as is appropriate. And we have already established a strong relationship with the Career Center. And so we can be happy to help point you in that direction and get you set up so that you're able to present the best face possible as you're out there seeking a job, seeking an internship, or if you decide you want to go on, for example, for a PhD in library and information science, for example. So please, you contact me if I can be of assistance, and I hope that I see you in my class, and after you get some of those core courses under your belt, welcome and every bit of success for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Okay, so let's move to Mark Aaron Polger. Mark?
He had some internet problem with his internet problem, audio, video, so he needed to, he couldn't be in the room. He just sent an email to you and me, so he cannot be here.
Oh, okay, so let's move to Ray Halliday. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Most people call me Ray. My full name is Ray Lynn, but feel free to call me Ray. I am the curator of animal management services with oversight for animal records management, transport, and compliance for the St. Louis Zoo, and just celebrated 33 years of employment there on January 14th. It's a wonderful organization. I love that they support my work as an adjunct for St. John's, and it really does, as a working practitioner, it really does contribute to do this work, and I'm so excited to meet the students this spring, and hopefully some of you are here today. I've been involved with developing academic partnerships for the Institute of Certified Records Managers, or the ICRM, since 2015, and worked closely with Dr. Angel to develop the ICRM's academic partnership with St. John's University and its DLIS program. This is actually my third year teaching the RIM course, and very excited again to meet the new students this spring. My interests are many, but if I had to sum that up in a few words, I'm just very passionate about RIM and information governance, being the best practitioner I can be to advance the RIM program in my organization, but also being the best advocate I can be for the profession of information management. To that end, for any of those students, again, that are here for the orientation, along with teaching you the core components of RIM, I hope to also impart some key things I've learned over my 38-year career with you. This leads to my related passions focused on student advocacy and helping you to advance your RIM and IG careers through professional development, leadership development, through volunteer service, training programs, and certification. I think that developing relationships and contacts in the profession should start as early on as possible before you graduate. So your certification then becomes the lightning rod that guides your career path. So thank you again and welcome. And I'm done.
Jim, you're muted.
Yeah.
That's because my crazy dog is barking over here, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. But anyway, let's move to, thanks, Ray, and let's move to Christopher Stewart.
Yes, hi, good evening. Good evening. I am driving, so I'm not going to come off of I'm not going to show you all my seatbelt and all of the surroundings in Washington, D.C. But but it's so great to be here with you all. My name is Christopher Stewart, and I'm an adjunct professor. I am teaching and have taught LIS 205 Introduction to Information Services and Sources, and also uh, information services and sources for children and young adults. So this term I'm teaching at IS 205, and in the summer I will be teaching library services for the unhoused. My research really centers around ending book apartheid, as I kind of coined. Oftentimes we hear book deserts, but apartheid is this sense that it has been an intentional creation of um, making sure that individual communities do not have access to literacy and literary programming. So my role and passion is to help break that up and destroy that, so that everyone has access to literacy. Um, and also, I do a lot of work with individuals experiencing poverty. So I have a bookstore in North Carolina that will be opening next year. But because that literacy and also poverty connection, this is going to be a pay-as-you-will bookstore. So individuals who come in who can afford the food, they can pay. But those who can't, they don't have to pay. So that so connects with the field of library science, because we serve so many individuals from all walks of life, whether it's public, academic, and in my role as a senior school librarian in Washington, D.C., I see my students who, a large percentage of them are experiencing houselessness and stay in shelters. So my focus in the courses that I teach, I want to make sure that students walk away with an empathetic can really look at every situation with an empathetic heart and eye, to make sure that we're trying to serve mm, uh, each and every single patron or customer with exactly what they need. So I can be reached, definitely my email, which is in the course syllabus and all throughout the course in Canvas, but also my number, my cell phone, text or call 202-744-6853. If you have any questions, even if I am not your professor this semester, please feel free to give me a call or text or email. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christopher. And so that brings us to our second part of the orientation, and that is our student resources. And this is going to be presented by Michael Cross-Fox. Michael.
Hello, everybody. I'm here. I'm just setting up my screen. Just bear with me for a moment. So I'm the academic support assistant in the Division of Library and Information Science. And what that means is that I'm your connection between the department and you students. I'm also the connection between the students and the college. And I'm also your connection between the LAS field and your student experience. So welcome. We've had some brief introduction probably at the LAS 270 walkthrough that happened a few weeks ago. But now I'm going to get into some more details that are not focused on that one course. I'm proud to say that I think we're at 95% completion of that course. I saw that there were some students who logged in today and were able to get their assignments done. So thank you. Just make sure if you're on this call and you haven't seen LAS 270 yet, please take a moment to go into Canvas and access 270 as soon as this meeting is over. The whole point of the course is to get you accessing all of the university systems that you're going to be using while you're in the online program. And we want to make sure that you have access to every tool that we have available to you before the start of the semester. I know some people were registered a few days ago, and we can work together to make sure that you have the access you need and that you can start working on your classwork as soon as possible without any technological hiccups. All right, so that being said, the first part of my spiel is about DLIS communications. Everyone should be receiving the DLIS Student Digest that goes out every Wednesday. If you have not received the Student Digest, even today's Student Digest, please email me as soon as possible. That's our primary means of disseminating relevant programmatic information to you. And make sure going forward, as of today, we will only be communicating with your St. John's University email account. So up until now, I've been sending digests to both your personal email and your university email. Now, as of this moment, we're transitioning into university-only communications. That's official communication both ways. You sending me an email from your university email, the college policy is that that email address is your signature. That makes it a legal record in the university. So we're only using that going forward. The digest, if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. If you've gotten it, this is the information you got today. At the top of the digest, we start with announcements. This is any information that the faculty or director want to share with you on an urgent basis. The next section is DLIS webinars. There are going to be links to register for the webinars and then links to the recording of the webinar. It's our policy in DLIS that any synchronous event like what we're having right now is recorded and the recording is made available to all students via our YouTube page. If the recording is something that contains confidential information, it'll be behind the paywall or behind our firewall, protected from public disclosure. Calls for submissions is the next section. We highly encourage you to try to seek publication while you're in your program. That's a great resume and CV building tool. Any student who gets a presentation or paper accepted by a professional association is eligible for a scholarship award, and you can get one of those per academic year. So talk to your advisor, talk to me about it, and we can get you started. But these are just current offerings, current calls for proposals. They may be essays, they may be papers, articles, sometimes it's poster presentations. If you get accepted in any format by a professional association, you'll get a scholarship, and that can help you ease your tuition burden. Opportunities is a section that contains information about fellowships, grants, funded PhD programs. I know it's the start of your master's program, but you might want to start thinking soon, or just looking at what PhD opportunities and fellowships are available. Some of the fellowships are open to students graduating now. So in 2 years or whenever you're at the end of your program, you can start looking at fellowships, and the information will be in your inbox every Wednesday. Scholarships is pretty self-explanatory. These are scholarships that we get calls from the awarding association because they haven't received enough applications or the application has been extended. So when you see a scholarship up here and it looks like it's from a national or big association, it's only in here because that association reached out to us because they want to award it to one of our students. Internships, self-explanatory. We'll see more of that later on. These are current internships. As Dr. Angel and Dr. Zilvian mentioned, we get exclusive internship opportunities because of our reputation in the field. So if you need assistance with that or more information, you can always reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with the relevant person. Events, these are outside events. They're mostly web-based. Some of them may be in person. These are events that, just so you can see as a first-year library student, what the discussion is in what's happening in the field. Intellectual freedom, mold in textiles, book bans. Professor Stewart just dropped the book apartheid phrase, and it's like blew my mind because that sums up the conversation that we've been having about access to information from Dr. Rio's research all throughout the division. So events, this kind of thing is, if you have any questions about upcoming events, reach out to me. I'll get you the details. Resources, this is just where I drop things that cross my desk that I think you might find interesting. Articles and scholarly papers. This is from a journal called The Political Librarian. So you'll see different types of resources here based on the information that crosses my desk. Just because I'm a member of multiple professional associations, and DLIS itself gets emails and information from all over the country, all over the world, really, about emerging research in LIS. And so resources would be the place to check for that. And then finally, the bottom section is jobs. I try to add a minimum of 5 jobs per week. As you can see, they're from all over the country. Some of these jobs will be handed into DLIS saying we would really like to hire a St. John's graduate. And I'll put a note in that job head, in that listing, saying St. John's graduate preferred, just so that you can prioritize in your job search. So that's the digest every week that goes out to you. A lot of the links in the digest connect to the DLIS blog. And this is another primary channel of communication that aggregates all of those opportunities and much more. So the blog is organized where the homepage has these widgets that populate with news about our division, student work and publication, and then alumni. These widgets on the right nav menu for current students, those are quick links to you to get to the current internship offerings, current job postings, and current calls for submissions. And then if you were a prospective student, you might have explored some of our scholarships and fellowships. Top nav, we organize our information under programs. This is course descriptions and syllabi relating to the MS-LIS. There's information about the certificate in social justice mentioned by Dr. Singh, information about the management certificate mentioned by Dr. Singh, and information about the ICRM DLIS partnership that Professor Halliday explained in her presentation. Under resources, pretty self-explanatory, professional associations, this information gets repeated throughout the DLIS student resource landscape. Scholarships, fellowships, and you're all currently members of the DLIS Student Association. You'll see here, DLISA, as we call it. You're going to get information about an upcoming membership meeting about that. It is a student chapter of the American Library Association, so consider it your first membership in a professional association while you're in the program. Finally, the third channel of communications for our students is the DLIS LibGuide. You've already experienced this in LIS 270, but I'm going to go into more detail here. This is your online student manual. We review and update the content of this LibGuide every academic year. So this is as fresh as it gets. I'm in the process of updating it now for summer and fall information. The homepage, pretty clear. This is the DLIS calendar. You can synchronize this. It's an iCal. There's information about the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and links to all of the properties, the assets that I just described to you. The advisement and registration page, this is where you're going to find curricular information about course offerings. You're going to review these materials with your advisor ahead of registration for summer and/or fall classes this year. That's going to happen later in the spring, around March and April. You'll get notified in the digest. Scholarships page, this is our internal scholarships and also access to outside scholarships. So definitely look at these. There are some specialized scholarships that are specific to ethnic and racial communities, but if you read the application processes, read their application materials thoroughly, because you may not necessarily have to be Asian Pacific American to qualify for that scholarship. But if you work in an area where you're serving that population, you may be able to express that in an application essay and convince the awarding body of your dedication to their underrepresented group. Internships, this is all the information you need to organize an internship. That's a conversation that you'll have with your advisor starting in the spring. If you just want to explore them now, there's a link to the blog and the handbooks and the procedure on the left so that you know when to start thinking about setting up. Career development, there's links to University Career Services. I'm going to go into a new, more robust tool for that in just a few minutes, but there's statistics data here on careers. There's these ALA resources. Peruse those and get a sense of what keywords employers are looking for, because for a lot of public libraries and a lot of information centers, especially in large multinational corporations where you would get an archival or record-keeping job, you're going to have to know how to kind of finagle a database to get your resume seen. So using those resources can really help you chart that course. And again, using on-campus career services will also get you a leg up. The professional associations page, This is all information about associations across the country that you can join as a student. I encourage you to join as a student. It's not very expensive. The American Library Association has a joint ALA and State Library Association membership package for students that costs about $50 a year. And you can maintain student level of membership in a professional association for 2 to 3 years after you graduate. So these membership has its rewards, right? To borrow from American Express. But you get access to professional development opportunities, conference proceedings, webinars, and scholarships, also grants. So there's a lot of benefits to being an ALA member. And then this student travel resources, if you get a paper accepted or a presentation accepted, the college may have funds to reimburse your travel expenses. So we left that up, and you can have that conversation with me or Dr. Vorbach. And of course, with your advisor, if you do get a presentation accepted at a professional association. This research tab aggregates resources to help you conduct your scholarly research while you're in the program. This calendar here isn't populated yet, but that's the library workshop calendar. I know they were on hiatus for a year or two, but maybe they'll bring them back. But there are other resources here to make sure, again, you get into the Writing Center. You do have access as a university student to the University Writing Center. They will meet with you and review your papers, help you identify your writing style, help you with bibliographic management and the APA formatting, which is our default in DLIS papers, unless you're in a course where your professor is teaching you about other citation styles, then you may be required to use another citation style, because that's part of reference work, right? So we're going to explore all of the citation styles as you move through the program. The ePortfolio page, this is what the information you need and the tools you need to build your ePortfolio. You as new students will be given a Digication account within the next few weeks. You don't have one yet because we had to finalize enrollment. But once that's done, you'll get an email from Digication saying you now have access. And then this page is where you can learn about the ePortfolio. You're at the start of your program. Dr. Vorbach will probably talk about this when he gives his presentation. But I'm just showing you where the resources are so that you have a sense of what's out there. And finally, the last tab on the LibGuide is the video archive. As I said, everything is recorded and posted on YouTube. And this is essentially an index, a quick reference to get to those videos on YouTube. So you can look and see how they're organized here. I'll bring to your attention that for student orientation, this student resources spring 2024 is the PowerPoint that I'm showing you now. So it's already up. When Dr. Vorbach is done, his will go up. So you'll have access to these slides and you can quickly click through these links and get the information you need. I would invite you to bookmark these websites. The portal, signon.stjohns.edu, should already be bookmarked in your browser. You're going to be living on that website. DLIS blog, again, for information. If you just want to quickly glance at internships or jobs, hit it up. And then finally, the LibGuide, what I just went through, which is where our handbook and student, your programmatic information resides. So getting back to career services and their brand new resource. Every student in the university has been enrolled in a Canvas course called University Career Services. This is what it looks like. So when we click through here, this is a robust set of pages where Career Services organizes and presents all that they do for the students and potentially what they can be doing for you as soon as you're up and running in the program. I do want to call attention to the link that I've included on this slide, and you'll notice I'm logged into Canvas in my browser, and then I click this link and it takes me directly to the page in the course. So remember, always be logged into sign-on up here. I'm logged into Canvas up here, and then I get a quick access to this page, Career Tools and Resources. Handshake is the job database where employers from all across the country share job postings with St. John's through Handshake. You will have to register with Handshake as a third-party vendor and set up your account. But once you're in there, if you have any questions, this is where you go to Career Services. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Candid Career has insider information videos, testimonial videos, or as Dr. Zilvian would call them, oral histories from various employees across various industries. So they'll give you firsthand perspective on the state of those careers and industries. So you might want to look and see if there's a corporate archivist, someone who works, someone who's curating a corporate art collection. Those are high power, high paying jobs that an MLS will open the door to. Parker Dewey offers micro internship opportunities. So these are like 20 to 40 hour internships. So you can't get academic credit for them. They're paid. So think of them as temporary jobs. And for us, that might be ascribing metadata to existing catalogs, working with, for instance, a chemical company to describe their holdings and organizing the information in a proprietary database or catalog. So these are practical tasks that you can do, and that'll help you build out your resume. A lot of these places use proprietary or very specialized licensed software, and if you can get the names of those products onto your resume, that's going to show a hiring director at a library or other information center that you're well-rounded and that you've been cross-trained, and you can do this on your own and get paid for it. So definitely explore Parker Dewey. Big Interview is, again, it's a remote interviewing service. You register for this and you'll begin to start meeting with people and going over your resume and working on how you present yourself in a professional job interview. So that's great. I know there's a lot of value for undergrads, maybe for people who've never had a job where they interviewed for in the past, but it's a great way to just keep practicing. I know that I had friends that during 2020, a lot of us changed careers, and getting back into interviewing after not having interviewed for 8 or 10 years, they would have loved to have access to this practice. So look at that. Forage is new. It's a great way to get skills. This is like the micro internships. These are task centric. You sign up, they describe a task, they say how long they think it's going to take you, they give you the tools to do it, they provide a training video, and then boom, you're working for, Ford Motor Company remotely for 40 hours. And you do their task. You help them, again, with metadata, with descriptions, with web content organization. You're going to be working, if they have their own content management system, you're going to learn that software. So these are great opportunities for you to get virtual work experience and then put those skills and those software titles in your resume. Focus is, this is, I think, more for undergrads. This is essentially a personality test to find out what kind of career you want. I don't know if you can, it helps to help you select a major as an undergrad, so I don't know that it could be of any use. If you want to check it out and give me feedback on the experience, I'd love to hear it. InterStride is for international students. I don't think any of our incoming students are international. I haven't checked, but this is definitely a tool because we know the immigration process, and with sponsorship and visas, the MLS does change your qualification, the requirements for visas in a lot of countries, especially a lot of Anglophone countries. So if you're abroad and you're earning your MLS from St. John's, you may want to look at the software to see if there's a reverse process. HERC, this is higher education related jobs. If you're interested in being an academic librarian or working in an academic library, this is the place to go. Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is just, I think it's a federal resource. Yeah, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, to give you an idea of what pay rates are like in your profession, what employment terms are like, how the rate of unionization in public libraries, those kinds of stats. You might want to look at that. Remember that that's here because you may want to refer to that when you're taking LIS 240 or LIS 239 management or research methods. It may be a good resource for statistics, and you have access to it right here in the Canvas course. ONET is, again, it's another thing about learning about career development and what your desired field will be. And finally, Catholic Volunteer Network. We are a Catholic university. There are opportunities for volunteerism because we are Vincentian. We focus on service to the poor. So you can talk to me. I graduated from the Vincentian Mission Certificate Program at St. John's University. I work with the St. Vincent de Paul Society here in Buffalo. I volunteer. I was one of the first, a charter member of the first LGBT Lions Club in New York City. So if you're interested in volunteerism, which I think a bunch of you have said in your introduction in LIS 270, definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to show you opportunities. And because I work remotely and this is an online program, I will gladly work with you to find volunteerism opportunities where you are. That's priority. It kind of goes without saying in my head, but we are at the moment a nationwide program. We've got students on the West Coast, we've got students on the South Coast, we've got students in the Northeast. So we've got students all over the place. I have to be aware of that. And you'll notice as you go through the program that you may get emails about inclement weather in your area, or when it's fire season in the West. I make sure to get out ahead of that. In the past, I have helped a student in the Pacific Northwest relocate to a temporary shelter and get him food and clothing because he had to be evacuated. His house was in the path of a fire, of a wildfire. And I did that by reaching out to the Diocese of Portland directly, picking up the phone and calling the bishop and saying, I have a student in St. John's University who needs a place to stay for a couple of days and have broadband access because he is an online grad student. So reach out to us. We've all said it. Communication is key to managing your experience in this program. So reach out to us. Any questions you have about the department, you can send the email to dlis@stjohns.edu. If you need my academic support, if it's a technical problem, actually, I'm going to reverse that. You've been communicating with DLIS at St. John's this whole time. From today forward, from this moment forward, communicate with cruzm@stjohns.edu, and I get back to you as soon as I get the email, and I want to get you a resolution within 24 to 48 hours, all right? That's just my motivation in this, all right? So reach out. Before I hand it back over to Dr. Vorbak, my final slide in every presentation, housekeeping. January 23, next week, is the last day for you to make a change to your class schedule. Again, because you're new students, if you want to make that change, you have to go through Dr. Vorbak first. If you're a returning student listening to this call, you just have to notify your advisor and then go into UIS and make the change once the advisor approves. January 31st, DLIS Student Association General Meeting. You'll get more information about this in the digest next week. And then finally, February 19th is President's Day. The university is closed. That means not just the physical campus, but all of the virtual offices. Registrar is closed, bursar is closed, financial services is closed, cafeteria is closed, university is closed, President's Day. And that's all you need to know about the program and our communications from me. So thank you. Welcome, everybody. Good luck in your studies, and I'm here if you need me. You're on mute, Dr. Vorbak.
Thank you, Michael. And as you heard and saw, there are a lot of resources out there for you. One step at a time. I mean, you can get easily overloaded, but try to explore each one of those resources in turn, as you're certainly the first highest priority is that weekly email digest that you should be getting, and make it a habit to look at what's going on there each week. I encourage you to participate in the DLIS Student Association biweekly webinars, which this semester we're going to start with a different time. We're changing the time to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Used to be later, and so we decided to make it a little bit earlier, and hopefully that'll encourage, that'll improve attendance on the part, that you can participate there live as opposed to just listening to the recordings of that. I just want to underscore before I get to my concluding remarks, Michael went through thoroughly what the valuable information that Career Services provides in their Canvas course. I would suggest, there's so much there that as a starting point, I would suggest Handshake and Forage as a starting point. Handshake was the jobs one, and Forage was all these mini courses. There, these tasks, some writing a resume, and some are skill set oriented. Um, and I sat through a presentation on Forage, and I was quite impressed with it. It's a great free resource for students, and then Handshake also is another great free resource. Certainly, the others are good as well, but I mean, if you have to start somewhere, I would start with Handshake and Forage in the career services tools. Okay, with that, let me conclude with my presentation here. Share content, PowerPoint, share application, and from current slide. Okay, are we seeing?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so this is just the orientation outline. Let me move ahead to my concluding remarks. My concluding remarks are basically four bullets here. Planning your career with an emphasis on advisement, the e-portfolio, which is our end of program assessment, communications, which I'll cover rather quickly because this is just, in a sense, providing a summary of what Michael already mentioned to you about communications, and then concluding with mentorship. So advisement, we strongly emphasize advisement to keep students in communication with a faculty member, full-time faculty member. I advised all of you initially, but as I mentioned to you in our advisement, that you'll be assigned within the first 2 weeks of the course, a member of the full-time faculty as your permanent advisor. You'll be advised in the fall and in the spring. Your next advisement will be March. And I can't stress enough the being prepared for your advisement meeting. Bring questions, uh, talk about, bring up the portfolio if that's on your mind. Um, have a look ahead at the courses that are being offered and questions on those. So again, the next advisement period will be March. So you'll know your advisor a good 4 weeks in advance. And it'll be announced in that weekly digest that Michael mentioned. So you gotta keep tracking that weekly digest for, when does the advisement period start? When does registration start? Registration will be starting in early April. Okay. The next advisement period, oh, well, sorry about that. This slide is, I did not update this. So this is a fall slide. So your students will be assigned a faculty advisor in early February. Next advisement period is March, not October, it's March. And then what to discuss, there you have it. And you'll be getting a copy of these slides anyway, so. Also part of this planning for your career is field experience. Some of you are already working in where you want to be. Some of you are working, many of you are working, but I mean, some of you are working in the institution that you want to move up in, and others are not. So you may want to consider internships, so getting some practical experience in a in the field, okay, into a particular specialization, let's say a public academic archival internship. Full-time, part-time work, of course, is great field experience if you already are in that role. Academic service learning is within our program. We have a number of courses in archival studies and also the web design course, which does academic service learning, in which you are engaged in a project, and that's part of the course objectives. So it's a highly integrated service opportunity within the course. And then, of course, there's always volunteer opportunities. If you see, if you can fit it in your schedule, um, rate up, 5 hours a week, 8 hours a week, whatever you can fit in your schedule. A volunteer opportunity may be a great way for networking. Again, under the planning for your career is professional engagement. As Michael mentioned, there's a whole tab on our online student manual, or DLIS LibGuide. I use terms interchangeably, that has the state library associations. You should definitely join the state and the national being ALA, and the state library association for where you reside. Uh, they provide highly discounted student memberships. I think it's around $40, $45. And particularly the state can be very useful because they provide often, um, they have opportunities for students to present. And these are that's great experiences. And we provide, to help you with that, two tools. One is the H.W. Wilson Professional Development Scholarship. If your presentation or poster or panel or paper is accepted at a professional conference, the H.W. Wilson Professional Development Scholarship is a $500 scholarship, $500 reduction on your tuition by virtue of having that award, that acceptance of to present. Then there's also the college. The college provides a travel reimbursement fund. If you have to travel from one part of the state to the other, and it's going to require some mileage, it's going to require an overnight stay, maybe two. Well, the college provides up to $500, which can put a good dent into that expense. So, two ways in which we help you with publications and presentations. Those are excellent forms of experience to engage while you're in your program. Okay, the e-portfolio. Here, I mentioned this briefly in our meeting, our advisement meeting, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but let's just talk about first the software. The software is called Digication, and as Michael mentioned, you're going to have an account on Digication. And if you look at that page in our online student manual, the e-portfolio tab, you'll see that there's a getting started tutorial. Not a bad idea once you get an account in Digication to do the tutorial. Just get a feel for the software. It's really a very gentle learning curve on it because it's just for electronic portfolios. It's not like a website tool that some places use to build an e-portfolio, which has got a lot of variables that you have to consider. Here, Digication is exclusively an e-portfolio design tool. So it's the learning curve is definitely not as steep as a general website tool. In this, there are 7 program goals. They are on the student online student manual. Okay, you are in the post 2023 group, so you have 7 program goals. Prior to 2023, it was 8 program goals, so they've been reduced to 7. So that's the one you want to focus on for program goals. And in all of your syllabi, they will mention what program goal is the course related to. So you'll know what courses, since there's more than one, you select the course, you select the assignment, you upload the assignment into Digication, into your e-portfolio in Digication, and then you have an essay to write, an essay for each one of those program goals. So let me stop there, and you can continue that conversation with your advisor, or just look at the resources we have on that page. It drills down into a lot of detail on your e-portfolio there. I put here also, there's video posted on the ePortfolio tab. So yeah, definitely take a look at that video. Communications, okay, I don't want to repeat what Michael mentioned here, that you can view this as a summary. You have the weekly digest, very important, coming out on Wednesday. There's the LibGuide, which I call the online student manual. Here's the link right here, as well as the link in Michael's presentation, and the blog, which is our, in a sense, our content repository for timely information. And that, the link is here as well. And lastly, mentorship. Professional associations. When you join like the academic librarians, ACRL, Academic College and Research Libraries, or the Public Library Association, or the YASD for Youth Services, or the Society of American Archivists. When you join one of those professional associations, you're getting access to their mentorship programs. It's a great, these are experienced experts in the field, and so it may, to keep that in your radar, is to consider joining one of the professional associations and taking advantage of their mentorship opportunities. What we provide here for the new students is an online learning mentorship. So this is not required by any means. Actually, historically, only a few students have taken us up on it. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's telling us that Canvas is pretty intuitive, which I'm glad to see. I'm glad to, get that feedback. But in any case, we have it. And all you need to do, if you're interested in having an online learning mentor who is a recent grad of our program, for just, how time management, any questions related to online learning, you could just email DLIS at stjohns.edu, or email Michael with his cruise m at stjohns.edu. And if you're interested in taking advantage of an online learning mentor. And our last slide is, please type questions in the chat box. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the chat box. And don't forget to complete the meningitis form. The meningitis form, or actually it's called meningitis declination form, does not require a doctor's visit. I mentioned this to you in our advisement, but again, it's something that's easily forgotten. So if you forgot, go back to that email that I sent you, follow that link at the bottom, okay, and go to health services, follow the instructions in my email, and complete that meningitis declination form. It's a state mandate. So our learning management system will check for it about week 2 or week 3, and then you get disconnected if it hasn't been done. It takes 2-3 days to get reconnected. So it's a hassle that you want to avoid. So just if you have not done the meningitis form yet, please do it. Let's say later tonight or tomorrow. Okay, great. And with that, let's go back to, let's say, I want to turn off sharing, stop, so I can see the chat. Okay, let's go back. I saw a question here. Okay, I have a question here on where is the meningitis form located? Okay, so in the email that I sent you with your registration form, at the bottom of that email, okay, so the registration form was an attachment. In the content, there was a number of links at the bottom. So there is a link there to the health services website. So you follow that link, and then I also give instructions in my email. You have to scroll down to required vaccines and then scroll down to meningitis. And that's where you'll see, click on the meningitis declination form. It does not require a doctor's appointment. It's just something you have to do. It's so that's where, and if you deleted that email, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. Okay. I have a question from Phoenix on, I don't think I've been receiving the digest. How do I sign up? Okay, Michael, you can follow up on that, okay?
Yeah, so I'll just double check Phoenix, and if you're not on my distribution list, I'll add you. If you are on my distribution list, you'll get an email from me asking you to make DLIS at stjohn's.edu a safe sender in your email client, and we can go through that process. Because sometimes we use a third-party email management system that's outside of our university, but it's masked to look like it's coming from within the university. So your spam filter may have caught that and pushed the message into your spam folder. So you just have to go find the message and give your spam folder, give your email client permission to accept those messages. All right, so I'll check everybody tomorrow, and I'll let you know. Same thing, Amanda. You'll hear if you're on my list, check your spam. If you're not on my list, I'll let you know that I added you.
Okay, and you saw that, Michael, from Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay, you got that. Okay, good. Okay, so I think that's it for questions. With that, let's conclude. So folks, it's been great to have this meeting with you all. And I extend my welcome to our spring 2024 entering class for the MSLIS program. And I wish you a very successful first term in the program and a successful program of study. Take care.